Winther and Heidi Hall, two buildings that have been staples on the campus of UW-Whitewater for students and teachers alike. You can see Winther Hall behind me. It serves the education department and has many classrooms and offices for both students and faculty. Just out of frame to the left is Heidi Hall, which serves the arts and communication department. It too has many different classrooms and offices for students and faculty alike. But now these buildings, which were constructed in the 1960s and are falling into a somewhat state of disrepair, are being targeted for a multi-million-dollar renovation project starting next fall. Two halls on the campus of UW-Whitewater are set to receive a major renovation in the coming years. The project, with a price tag of over $78 million, received funding through a state legislature bill that was signed into law by Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers back in February. Winther Hall is going to be the main focus of this renovation project, as it has been at the top of the list of prospective projects for the university for many years. The building has lacked accessibility needs for people in wheelchairs since its construction. The renovation plans to tackle this challenge by installing new, larger elevators, as well as wider hallways and bathrooms.
It's really important for us at UW-Whitewater because these buildings were built in the 1960s, back before UW-Whitewater's mission started with students with disabilities. And so while changes have been made to those buildings to make them more accessible, this new funding will allow us to truly transform them into state-of-the-art facilities that are inclusive and accessible to everyone.
Other key pieces of Winther that will be redesigned are bathrooms and classrooms within the building. Currently, Winther is designed with each floor either having a men's or women's restroom, not both. Only certain floors also have all-gender restrooms, an issue the university plans to mitigate to foster inclusion. As for learning spaces, the building has multiple rooms with very little to no natural light. There have also been concerns about classrooms being outdated or technologically behind the times. The university, along with the Facilities Planning and Management Group, are aiming to introduce more windows, create new study spaces for students, and update rooms for both remote and in-person teaching to address these issues.
In Winther, that's going to be a full gut and remodel that will address the programmatic needs also of the college. We're going to take one of the lecture halls that's underutilized just due to we don't have classes that are of that large classroom size. That's going to become like a student services hub where a lot of the entities that interact with the education students, advising and field experience, if I'm getting it correct. There's going to be some new windows, opportunities to introduce windows because there's not a lot of daylighting in that building. But the basic configuration is going to stay the same in terms of the building envelope and the shape of the building.
The renovation will be much less focused on Heidi Hall, but it will receive larger, more inclusive bathrooms, new elevators for the building, and a roof replacement, similar to Winther. On top of this, the atrium at the front will receive a new skylight and windows for an updated look. Looking into the issues behind this project, student and faculty concerns were a large part of why the university made it a top priority. Numerous accessibility complaints had come up over the years, making the school aware of the need for updated spaces. One student of many who spent lots of time in Winther Hall was Kelsey Maney, a graduating senior who says her time in the building was less than ideal.
It went against everything the professors were teaching us about what an ideal classroom would be for students. It felt like a prison, actually. There was no windows in any classroom I was in. The desk sizes were so tiny you could either fit your computer on there or your notebook. You had to pick and choose which one you would want to be on the desks. Whitewater is known to be an education college. They produce really good teachers, and putting money towards that, I think, would be really beneficial for everyone.
Aside from the building needs and updating spaces for greater accessibility, Maney's point of Whitewater's dedication to teachers was also a key driver in getting the project off the ground. The University Chancellor, Corey King, addressed the need for updated educational college spaces in his press release following the project's approval by the state. King stated, "With these capital improvements, Whitewater can meet an increasingly critical workforce need. There is a nationwide shortage of professional educators and teachers, especially in rural areas. This project gives UW-Whitewater room to grow." King's claims are backed up by an August 2023 report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum, mentioned in the same press release, that the number of teachers working on an emergency license without being fully prepared had tripled in the 10-year gap between 2012 to 2022. Despite all of the issues behind the project and the university making it a top priority to update the buildings, acquiring the state approval was a long process.
Winther's been our top priority, so while we've had it as our top priority, it's just kind of taken a while for it to get to UW Systems' top priority because they have to look at all the buildings statewide. And then it did reach the top, and I mean, I think there were a couple bienniums where we thought it was going to get approved and then it didn't, and I think there has become more of a political nature where with different legislatures giving their feedback and pushing their projects. It's more like a bottleneck type scenario where there's just more requests than there is funding, so it just kind of takes a long time for your project to rise to the top.
Ultimately, the project was finally approved after multiple tries by the university. The Winther Heide project has entered the design phase and is expected to start construction in 2025. It will join other projects that are either already started or planned in the near future, including continued updates to Upham Hall, a Lot 19 repaving and reconstruction, and a roof replacement for Laurentide Hall. While the completed effect of the Winther Heide renovations won't be fully felt by students and staff for several more years, the project approval is already a major stepping stone in helping solve problems and focus on constantly improving the university. For UWW-TV News, I'm Nolan Kopydlowski.